pet that ends in a surprise bite? Litter box problems that appear for no apparent reason? These feline mysteries are not whims, but a language we struggle to decipher. They are not random acts, but pieces of a complex puzzle leading to their well-being. To assemble it, one must first understand that our simplest gestures of affection are often profound blunders. Physical contact is undoubtedly the first of these misunderstandings. A gesture that, for us primates, signifies comfort, can be perceived as a threat by a solitary predator. Petting the wrong spot is the perfect example. The belly, which houses vital organs, is the most vulnerable area of its anatomy. When a cat exposes it, it is not an invitation, but a proof of absolute trust. It feels so safe that it can let its guard down. Touching this area betrays that trust and triggers a defensive reflex. The same goes for its tail, an extension of its spine, and for its paws, essential for its balance. Handling them is intrusive and disorienting. For appreciated contact, you should focus on the cheeks, chin, and the base of the ears. These areas, rich in facial glands, are the ones it uses to mark its territory and create a familiar group scent. Petting these spots strengthens your bond in a language it understands. Sometimes, however, an enjoyable petting session ends in a sudden attack. This is not bipolarity, but overstimulation. The cat's nervous system is so sensitive that repeated rubbing, even gentle, can quickly become irritating. Before attacking, it always sends signals. The skin on its back ripples, its tail gives short, sharp twitches, and its ears pivot to the sides. Ignoring these warnings pushes it to use a stronger signal, like a bite, to say stop. Another mistake is to lift it off the ground unexpectedly. For an animal whose safety depends on its ability to flee, being suspended in the air is terrifying. It loses control of its paws, its only means of escape, and its brain interprets this as being captured by a predator. To avoid these mistakes, especially with a cat you don't know, patience is key. Squat down, avoid direct eye contact, and extend a hand. Let it initiate contact. If it rubs against you, pet it briefly, 5 seconds at most, on the head or cheek, then withdraw your hand. This approach respects its autonomy and lays the foundation for mutual trust. But our interaction with it is not limited to touch. Our mere presence can unintentionally assault its sharpest senses. Its hearing and sense of smell, essential for survival in the wild, become a source of torment in our homes. Loud and sudden noises are its worst enemies. The vacuum cleaner is not just a loud noise, it is an acoustic monster whose high frequencies are associated with imminent danger. The same goes for a blender, a drill, or a heavy object falling. These sonic blasts trigger a massive release of cortisol and adrenaline, forcing it to seek refuge. Its sense of smell, up to 14 times more powerful than ours, is just as vulnerable. Air fresheners, strong perfumes, and especially citrus-scented cleaning products, which are often used as repellents, are a chemical assault to them. These scents mask the pheromonal markings it deposits to feel secure, as if a stranger had graffitied all your family photos. The volume of our voice also has a direct impact. A shout, an argument, or even a conversation that is too loud is perceived as aggression, a predator's growl that generates chronic stress. Speaking to it in a soft voice is essential to communicate your affection. Faced with this sensory bombardment, the cat does not remain silent. It speaks to us constantly, but we struggle to understand its language, made of subtle postures and movements. Before biting or scratching, it always warns. The tip of its tail whipping the air signals irritation, its ears pivoting to the sides in airplane mode or flattened against its head betray fear or aggression. Respecting these signals by ending the interaction preserves its trust. Conversely, it also expresses affection. The slow blink is the most beautiful example. While a fixed stare is a threat in the animal world, blinking slowly is its way of saying it is perfectly at ease, the equivalent of a kiss. Responding by blinking back at it strengthens your bond. You must therefore avoid staring at it at all costs, especially if it is shy. What is a sign of attention for a human is pure intimidation for a cat. Knowing how to decipher these exchanges is essential, but our influence does not stop there. Often, the source of unease is deeper, rooted in the very environment we impose on them. Our home, designed for our comfort, is, from its point of view, a territory riddled with flaws. The litter box, for example, is the most crucial element of its well-being. For us, it's a convenience. For it, it's the site of one of its most intimate rituals. A dirty litter box is an aberration. In the wild, a cat buries its waste so as not to alert prey and predators. A litter box saturated with urine and feces contradicts this survival instinct and forces it to seek a cleaner place, like a rug or a flower pot. Cleanliness must be rigorous. Location is just as critical. No one likes to eat next to their toilet, and neither do cats. Placing its litter box near its food bowls creates a conflict that can lead it to shun one or the other. It should be in a quiet place, away from traffic and noisy machines, where it feels safe. Finally, in a multi-cat home, the golden rule is always to have one more box than the number of cats. This prevents territorial conflicts and stops a dominant cat from blocking access to this vital resource. If the latrine is a pillar of their well-being, the eating area is just as critical. The act of eating can become an ordeal because of a simple bowl. A cat's whiskers are ultra-sensitive tactile radars. When it eats from a bowl that is too narrow and deep, its whiskers rub against the sides, creating a painful overstimulation called whisker fatigue. It may then take the food out to eat it on the floor, or even refuse to eat. A wide, shallow bowl solves this problem. Access to water is another challenge. Cats have an instinctive distrust of stagnant water, perceived as a breeding ground for bacteria. Running water is synonymous with freshness and safety. That's why a water fountain, which keeps water moving, is so effective at encouraging good hydration and preventing kidney problems. Furthermore, instinct dictates they separate their eating area from their water source to prevent their prey from contaminating their source. And finally, cats are solitary eaters. Eating in the presence of other animals or agitated humans can be a source of stress, causing them to eat too quickly or develop an aversion to food. Every cat deserves its own space to eat in peace. A peaceful meal and fresh water are not enough if the territory itself is perceived as an open and threatening plain. The need to hide is a fundamental coping mechanism. Faced with a noise, a visitor, or a conflict, its first reflex is to retreat into a small, dark, enclosed space where it feels invisible. Cardboard boxes, the inside of a closet, or the space under a bed are its decompression chambers. Depriving it of these refuges is like removing the safety valve from a pressure cooker. As a small predator that is also prey, a high vantage point offers it a strategic advantage. It is a lookout post and a haven of peace far from the hustle and bustle of the ground. Cat trees and shelves are not luxuries. They increase living space, reduce conflict, and allow a hierarchy to be established without confrontation. Finally, we make a silent mistake by depriving them of their main entertainment, the window. For an indoor cat, it is its cinema, its connection to the world. Watching the leaves, birds, and passersby is mental stimulation that prevents boredom, that insidious cause of destructive behaviors, like scratching furniture or excessive grooming. A well-arranged home is soothing, but to truly understand our companion, we must delve into its mind, into the engine of its behaviors, its ancestral instincts. The cat's brain is a biological clock set to anticipate. Its security relies on predictability. A move, visitors, or even a simple change in our work schedules disrupts its universe and plunges it into uncertainty. This constant state of hypervigilance is exhausting. When the environment environment is too static, this routine-loving animal suffers from another ailment, boredom. A hunter without prey is a strategist without a plan. Scratching the sofa or excessive meowing are often desperate attempts to release energy that finds no constructive outlet. Establishing a stable routine with meals and play sessions at fixed times is therefore an act of love. This structure reassures it and strengthens your bond, making you the reliable landmark in its universe. This internal clock does not only govern rest and meals, it beats to the rhythm of an ancestral imperative, the hunt. The most bewildering behavior for many owners occurs at night, those fierce attacks on feet moving under the blanket. Far from aggression, it is the culmination of a predator's frustration. Throughout the day, it has accumulated hunting energy that, if not channeled, explodes when its instincts are sharpest. A foot under a duvet perfectly mimics hidden prey. The solution is not punishment, but prevention. 15 minutes of intense play before the last meal of the evening, simulating a full cycle of stalking, chasing, and capturing, exhausts its energy. Following this hunt with a meal completes the sequence and induces a state of deep satisfaction. Playing with your hands is a fundamental mistake. It teaches it that human skin is acceptable prey. You must always use a toy, like a feather wand, to simulate a bird or a rodent and divert its predatory instinct from your body. Each of these misunderstandings, from a frustrated hunting instinct to an unsuitable environment, is a drop of water that, day after day, fills the vessel of stress. When this anxiety becomes chronic, the invisible enemy manifests as real health problems. Prolonged stress weakens the immune system. It can cause painful bladder inflammation, idiopathic cystitis, or skin problems when the cat channels its anxiety into compulsive grooming to the point of pulling out its fur. It is therefore necessary to learn to recognize the warning signs. A cat that is constantly hiding, a change in its litter box habits, a loss or increase in appetite, excessive grooming, or plaintive meows. These signals are the whispers of a deep distress. Becoming the guardian of your cat's serenity is, in the end, the greatest proof of love you can offer it.